Hello and welcome back to the Ginger Joe Racing Show, proudly sponsored by Oddschecker. It's a bit of a different night tonight because we've got a couple of, I wouldn't say kind of intruders. They're good friends of ours, a couple of special guests. Going to quickly do the housekeeping. So thank you to all of our subscribers. We've got over 2,500 viewers on our recent handicap preview video. And this video, we're going to be previewing the Trials Day weekend in the lead up to the festival. We've got Cheltenham, Doncaster, Fairyhouse, and we're going to cover a bit of Naas on Sunday. And then we'll have a quick Ante-Post chat and we'll just, I'm going to surprise the boys. They don't know the races and the horses I'm going to throw in there, but I'm sure we'll test their mettle. We've got a pro studier straight from the finishing line. They're going to say it again, the Dublin Bay Sean the Prawn. Sean done from the finishing line.
Sean the Prawn.
How's it
Jesus,
going,
Scott,
Sean?
you give me a grand entrance there. Hopefully I can live up to it. But yeah, look, great to jump on with you lads. Of course, we have a group chat for anyone that doesn't know that goes back and forward a hell of a lot. We've a lot of discussion through the day, so I feel like I probably know the lads like family at this rate. So yeah, it's good to be on and we go through what we call a good card, and probably going to see Cheltenham prospects or balloons burst. There's a couple of horses that are out this weekend with Cheltenham credentials, so good to crack on and get through it all.
Good man, Sean. You're always welcome on the show. You know that, buddy, and echo everything you said. And here he is, Essex's finalist. He is from the Cheltenham Exchange, the boss man himself, Ian Rayner. How's it going, boss man?
Very good, Scotty. I think this is the first time I've known you guys for ages. This is the first time I've been on the Ginger Joe show. So finally, it's happened. Finally.
Well, no pressure. We've had some very established guests this year, so just make sure you've tested me and you've tested a couple of the lads with the quizzes this year. So
Oh, yeah.
I'm ready for you tonight. So here we go. Going to say a quick hello to Jungle Boogie, my fellow wingman. How you doing, Jamie? Okay.
Isn't it great to see a dub and an Essex man on the podcast? In all fairness, now you have to give him a round of applause. The only thing I will say, get rid of the background done. Oh, disgraceful.
You don't want the plain wall, Jay. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. Look what Ian's stringing. Wingman. Look at him. Look at him.
That's a nice beer. I recommend that.
It's lovely, isn't it?
It's lovely.
There we go. Other beverages are available, of course. And here he is, the Grand Master, the boss himself, Ginger Joe, who's just back from Willie Mullins's Dublin Racing Festival press day. He was there yesterday, excelling himself. It was like Christmas all over again. Ginge, how you doing? And you've got an offer as well, an Oddschecker offer to throw out for everybody, haven't you?
Yeah, I'm good, Scotty. Like you said, great to have Sean and Bossman on. As we were just saying, we talk all day, every day. They're basically like family at this point. So great to have the lads on. And yeah, had a nice day at the media day yesterday. Very grateful that I got that opportunity. Not every day you get to go and see Willie Mullins at Close Sutton. Sean did actually tell me I was going to be in for a treat, and he wasn't wrong. It was yeah, brilliant. It really was. Yep. So just to our subscribers, we do have a special offer. If you want to join Oddschecker Unlimited, you'll get 20% off using code GJOE20 and the link in the description below. Not only do you get my daily tips, you get my Ante-Post selections. You'll get my golf tips as well. My 46 points up already from the couple of events so far, over 1,000 points in profit in total. You get Andy Holden's tips, the Road to Cheltenham preview. Liam Firkin has obviously just joined as well, Mr. Tipstar, Ante-Post Angle. You'll get his tips as well. So if anyone wants to join us, completely optional. There is a link in the description below. And that is it for me, Scotty.
Wicked. Right, we're going to crack on and we're going to go straight to Cheltenham HQ for the weekend Saturday. We're obviously recording on Thursday evening, so we have the final declarations for Saturday. And the first race we're going to go to is the 225. It is the Betfair Cotswold Chase Grade 2, won last year by Capodanno. He is going to be represented this year, same owner, JP McManus, Chantry House at 7-1, who won on New Year's Day. And of course, we've got Long Press, the even money favourite, who was third in the King George, former winner of the Brown Advisory. And he's going to be opposed by the likes of Gentleman's Game, who was third at Leopardstown at Christmas, Stage Star, Delta Work, and Tommy Bow. I'm going to start with you, Sean. Have you had a look at the Cotswold Chase? Do you think Long Press is a play or a lay at even money? Is there anything you fancy in the race?
Yeah, look, Scotty, coming into this would normally be the typical one now. I'd be trying the full kitchen sink at La Presse. But there's just one thing that's niggling in my mind, and it's stable form. You look at her, she's 4 from 26, 15%. But I think if you delve a little bit deeper, she's had 2 stable stars run last week in Royal Pagoin de Jello. They both look beat very, very early in the season. She went through that spell of December where she was very good, and Venetia normally comes back down a little bit, but I'm just not sure if it's hitting certain horses or there's a bug going through the yard, because some of them aren't lifting a leg, and I'd be kicking myself now if I went and took the short prices about La Presse, and that'd be enough to steer me clear. And I think, look, you have an obvious contender next in the betting gentleman's game. I think he's a rock solid horse from Mouse Morris. Now's the time of day. Can target a race with a horse and get her right. I think he has a great chance coming in here. He does have to give away the penalty. He's to give away £6 to La Presse. But as I said, I have my queries about him, and I think he might perform on that par. So I'm happy to take him on, even with the weight given away. Gentleman's Game has had one run back this season at Christmas in the Lexus, where he was touched off by Galloping the Champ and Factor Foil. No means defeat, and that great run, first run back. I think he's a straightforward horse. You pop him out, he'd be plenty handy. He'll jump for joy, and like, you look through the rest of the field, I won't lie, it's a bit of a shambles, to be honest with you. Chantry House Stage Star, you couldn't be carrying your money on any of them. So it'll be Gentleman's Game in here for me.
Gentleman's Game, yeah, I do agree with you, Sean. I'm a Gentleman's Game fan for this race as well. I'm going to go to you, Joe. I know you're a bit of a long press fan some days, but I don't really know who you fancy in this race. All of these horses I've looked at, I've never really heard you talk about many of them. Do you have a bet in the race?
I don't actually have a bet in the race, but I love Long Presse. But over 3 miles plus, he's probably got a little bit to prove, really. I'm not necessarily sure that it's his ideal trip, and I'd say that connections are going to be questioning why they didn't give him a Ryanair entry now that that Jello's been beat, of course. And if they don't win here, they're going to seriously be questioning a few things going forward. You obviously then can look at Jello. He was beat by Protectorat. Long Presse beat Protectorat. So there's a few form lines in there now. The only thing I see when I look at this is, why haven't they given him a Ryanair entry? It's just baffling me, to be honest. There's only one course and distance winner in here. It's Chantry House, but I can't really have him. And I'm like Sean, I think the bet would have to be Gentleman's Game. He is giving away that £6 penalty, but he's beat the likes of Brave Man's Game and other pretty smart horses. Brave Man's Game has beat Long Presse, so there's again another bit of a form line there. So I think I'd be taking Gentleman's Game if I was pushed for a selection, but I'm not necessarily sure I'd be punting in the race. But no, I'd love Long Presse to win this, but if he doesn't, those Ryanair credentials and Gold Cup credentials are truly well and finished, in my opinion.
Yeah, I like that as well, Joe, what you said there. I mean, Chantry House won this race 3 years ago, and he's now an 11-year-old. So you'd think if he wins this race, there would be a few questions to be asked about the others. Boss man, tell me what you're thinking for the Cotswold.
Oh, on my note, Scotty, I've put Poxy Race because it is very Poxy. This is supposed to highlight the best of the British going into the Gold Cup. And as some of the guys have said, look what we've got. They say Chantry House was, as you said, 11. Stage Star, Delta Works coming round here for a stroll, ready for the cross country in the Grand National. But I'm going to disagree with some of you guys. I'm still going to stick with Long Press. I know there's that form. He was third in the King George behind Banbridge and Ile-France, fourth in the Gold Cup. He has got course of distance form. I think he's won here twice before. I forgot where he won now. I think he won a Paddy Power and he won the Brown Advisory, I think.
Won the Brown.
But I
He
think
won the Browns and he won the Dipper, didn't he, on New Year's?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the weight could be telling as well. I think he's getting £6. Yeah, it's 11.4 and Gentleman's Game is getting 11.10. So that, for me, that could be the factor. I say Gentleman's Game, funny enough, has got form tied in with Galloping to Champ as well. I think he last won the Charlie Hall in 2023. And we're saying about form, Dara O'Keefe, I think he's had one win in 14 days. Might not be anything, but it's something I found. But yeah, so I'll go with Long Press, Scotty.
So a firm vote for the Long Press from Ian. Purposely, I've left Jungle Boogie to last because I know how he felt when Long Press wasn't entered in the Rhino, which we mentioned. Jamie, I can't see any other bet in the race coming from you. Tell me, Long Press surely for you in this one?
Yeah, I agree with exactly what Joe said. Why isn't he in the Ryanair? There could be, like after this, if he doesn't stay, there could be a complimentary supplementation, as they say, and he'd be in the Ryanair. Because, look, no offense, Scotty, and I know you put up Jello, and just no respect for you, that he was completely put in his box by Protector at the weekend, and I told you that. But look, racing is racing and all that. The only thing is, like with Long Press, that he's one of Browns. I think he'll just go from the front, stack him up, and he wins. It's the bet of the weekend at even money. It's bending down and picking it up in my book. I understand what Sean's saying about the training form. It has to be a worry. I understand that. But it's bending down and picking up. I hope he loses, by the way, bending down and picking it up. I do, because then the owner might have a brainwave and say he should be in the Ryanair. Will he be protectorate in the Ryanair? I don't know about that.
He's beaten
But
before, though, Jane. He's beaten before, Long Press, eh?
yeah, he's beaten Lampard. Yeah. But protectorate's a Cheltenham horse. But no, I think this is the bet of the whole weekend, and he should be beating this if he's any good. To be honest, all jokes aside, but he should win. It's even money. Bend down, pick it up. He should win.
Okay. So two strong votes for Long Press and a bit of a split between the rest of us, mostly for Gentleman's Game. Going to move on to the next race, which is the 3 o'clock, and it's not going to take long. It's the Unibet Hurdle, registered as the International Hurdle. It's a Grade 2 over 2 miles. Constitution Hill. We didn't really expect to see him, or I didn't personally. He's been declared, and he's a 1-9 favourite at the moment. I'm not going to waste much time talking about the race myself. I'm just going to go back to you, Jamie. He surely wins here, doesn't he?
Yeah, I suppose the most interesting horse, Scotty in the races field do there is where is he going to go, and they're going to have a look and the whole that. But no, it's just a waste of time of race, really. Basically, he'll just win. And will he win a champion in a hurdle? I put it this out to you, and I'm going to be controversial. No, he won't beat the two mares.
Okay.
Wow.
I think that's a pretty strong vote there for Constitution Hill. We're talking about the champion hurdle. We'll have
I'll take the two mares in a pair against him.
I've got a point to make on that, and I will bring it up later in the show, Jamie, if you don't mind. I'm going
No.
to go quick to you, back to you, boss man. Miss Nikki Henderson's personal assistant fanboy on Twitter.
I've put in my notes he just wins, doesn't he? He's going to be like schooling in public. Brentford Hope 7-1. Phil Dudu, as you said, and he got up to like 40-1. This is ridiculous. So, yeah, he just wins, Scotty, for me.
Sean, are you in the same opinion?
Yeah, look, I'm his biggest fan. I love Constitution Hill. Look, it's a handy 71 grand to be picking up running around here, because there's no competition here. But if it says anything, it's probably striking fear back into the Mullins and Elliott camp. Nicky Henderson flexing his muscles a bit, saying everyone relax, he's back in action. I think the fact that he's coming out a second time is just reminding everyone after that emphatic win at Brighter Days ahead at Christmas. I think they're just going to say, look, lads, don't forget how good Constitution Hill is out. Because he had no intentions of running them after Christmas, and it just tells you he must be going really, really well at home. I didn't think we'd see him straight until Cheltenham, but look, he's getting a spin around, and it'll be nothing more than school in public, as Ian said.
Good. Ginge, is it a full house for Constitution Hill?
No, Spirits Bay take. No, I'm joking. Yeah, of course he does. Yeah. I wasn't going to say anything as well, apart from what Sean mentioned. The fact that they're running him, to be honest, must be a massive positive. The fact that he must be going really well at home. He's probably that well within himself. He needs to get the run into him so he doesn't just drop off and go a little bit lazy at home. So I think it's a major positive that he's running. That's the first time I think I've been positive about him, to be honest, this season. That he just wins, doesn't he? And then all roads lead to Cheltenham, and hopefully, like Jamie said, the mares take him on in March.
Okay, so it's a full house for the former champion hurdle hero, Constitution Hill, who we last saw at Kempton with a hat-trick of wins in the Christmas hurdle. The 3:35, our third race we're going to preview on the Trials Day weekend, is the Grade 2 Betfair Cleve Hurdle, 3 miles. And we've had some really big winners down the years, the likes of Big Bucks, Paisley Park, and Thistlecrack, who all went on to win at the Cheltenham Festival, the Stairs Hurdle. Looking through the race myself, I'm going to give a quick mention to Montmorel. He's 8-1. I think he ran a good race at Newbury the last time in the long distance hurdle. I'd say he's a little each way play for me in the race. Just on the fact that I think Strong Leader hit the last day at Ascot. I'm not a big believer in Strong Leader as a Grade 1 horse. I don't think he goes right-handed. I think Aintree, all the left-handed tracks will suit him better. But again, I don't know if Cheltenham is really his course. He is 11-4 as we speak. And Gower Road, who is a consistent performer, more so in handicaps, is 9-2. Finished second again last time out at Cheltenham in open company. I'm going to start with you, Joe, this time. I really can't get an angle on the race apart from a small each way and Montmorel. Would you be willing to forgive Strong Leader, or was there something else in the race you fancy?
No, I'm a bit dubious about the front two, Scotty. I think, like you said, I think they're both flat track sort of horses. I don't think Cheltenham's going to suit either of them, really. I know previously the Crambo's only ran here once and he was pretty disappointing in the race last year. And Strong Leader, another, he just looks like a flat track bully to me. So I'd be willing to take them on actually. I might even consider a bet. If I can get 5-1 on Gal Road each way, he is a horse that really, really likes Cheltenham. He's a really strong traveller and he held Lucky Place all the way to the line the last day. He does obviously need to step up and trip a little bit, but he was close behind the Wall Park at Cheltenham, sort of back in October. That sort of form's going to work out really nicely. Now, I know the Wall Park got beat by Strong Leader and Crambo the last day, but I think he's better than that. And I just like the fact that Gal Road really enjoys Cheltenham. Those nagging doubts about the course form for me for Strong Leader and Crambo are really worrying. I just think they're horses that get better as the race goes on. But I think with the undulations at Cheltenham, they might be found off their feet a little bit halfway round, and that just may lower the level of their official rating and bring something like Gal Road into the race. So if I can get an each way price at 5-1 or bigger on the day, I will have a go on Gal Road. If I can't get the price though, I will leave the race alone at the same time.
Okay, so Gal Road each way for Joe if it's 5-1 or better. Jamie, I've left Crambo out of the conversation because I wanted to come to you because I know you're a massive Crambo fan. He obviously won that Grade 1 at Ascot for the second time in a row. Will you be playing him at this price? Is 5-2 a bit short for what he's shown at Cheltenham so far, would you say?
No, I wouldn't, Scotty. He needs to go right-handed, where Strong Leader needs to go left-handed, and Strong Leader bombed out because he needs to go right-handed. A length and a quarter beaten by Noble Yates last year in the Cleve Hurl, Paisley Park was second, is the best piece of form that you can see in the race. Gal Road doesn't like winning races. Monmorel is just going to stay for upper temps, qualified. Botox says Galo is probably flying the ointment in the race. But no, 5-2 Strong Leader. He's an absolute good thing here. Flat track or no flat track. Watch back the race. He was getting there. He was getting there last year. 5-2. Fill your boots. He's an absolute good thing, Strong Leader, and he will bounce back to form and he'll win this by a countryman.
Okay, so we've got three different opinions so far. Strong Leader, a real big shout there from Jamie. Sean, talk to me. What do you reckon in this race?
Yeah, I'm actually going to go and rip the top two apart, to be honest with you, Scotty. Look, you look at the top, you have Crambo, who doesn't back up his races. He also was trying at the last day, said he needs to be kept fresh. I genuinely don't understand why they're coming here now. Like, he was harping on. The only thing I could hear after the race was the key to him was fresh, fresh, fresh. Then all of a sudden you're rocking back up here to a Cheltenham going left-handed, which I don't think he's seen to his best effect. And they're just contradicted what they said. So I'm happy to take him on. Strong Leader, as you said, he's not a horse I can get right at all. He's also had to have a wind up after the last day, which would worry you. Sometimes you can take a run for the horses to realise that they can breathe again. And it's often second time out where you see that the best effect. He's just not a horse that I can get my hand around. I do respect that he did come here last season and ran a good race, but I think it's all gone pear-shaped since, and the wind up would worry me. And Joe has hit the nail on the head. I'd even take the each way all day long on Gale Road. I think he's that consistent horse. He just delivers day in, day out. You can't say he's second night probably and doesn't get his head in front, but when you have queries about the top two, whether they're going to act around this place or run up the form, and then you look in behind and you're saying Gale Road, Mamoral, Botax has, they're all a bit much of a muchness, and I think Gale Road is the one that turns up every single day and runs his race. As you said, he went and finished second to the Wall Park in the qualifier. His second last time out really stood to me against Lucky Place. I thought that was a cracking run to get so close to him. He was getting weight that day, but I just thought he's very consistent. Sound twist and Davis in the drive, he's going to get everything out of him that he can, and I think he is definitely the muggy each way bet in this race.
Okay, so another each way vote for the fence sitters on Gower Road. Bossman, you don't sit on the fence. I've got a feeling you got one up your sleeve here. Talk to me.
No, I echo what Ginge and Sean said. I like Gale Road. I know, as they said, the guys have said he's got second-itis, and behind Wall Park, I think it was Dying Quest and Lucky Place, as I said. I think he's carried, bearing in mind, he's carried 12 stone twice during this period, since October and November. So for him to finish second, carrying that weight, I think is quite good. He's got 11-2 this time for the Tristan Davises. You were saying about Crambo and Strong Leader. I think Strong Leader was stone last, as I said, in the long walk, which won by Crambo, and then I think Crambo got beat in the Liverpool hurdle, I think it was, and the Stairs hurdle. So it seems like they keep beating each other. I think this could be his day for Gale Road. So I think the £6 could be telling. I'll also mention there's a horse I like for the National Hunt Chase going over hurdles in this race. Is what's the price? 33-1 transmission. So just to watch him for a little day out, have a little stroll around, just to keep his chase mark.
Nice and tidy.
Yeah, nice and good.
Jim Dandy.
Yeah, lovely. But yeah, yeah. So Gale Road for me, 9-2, as you guys said. I'll go for the win.
You go. So no love for Crambo really in the race. So 3 really on Gal Road side here. I like Monmoral each way, and Jamie is very strong leader. Speaking of Nigel Twiston-Davies, we're going to move on to our next race. He's running in the last 14 days. He's got a 22% win strike rate, Nigel Twiston-Davies, and he's got the even money favourite in our 410, which is the AIS Novices Hurdle Grade 2, Potter's Charm, who, again, another horse we probably didn't expect to see before the festival. He won the Formby Novices Hurdle up at Aintree at Christmas, and of course won at the showcase meeting here at Cheltenham. It's really a race. I've got a couple of favourites in. I do like Bill Joyce. I backed him at Sandown when he won the graded race there. Obviously finished third in the Challow Hurdle behind the New Lion, and of course Wendigo finished second in that race for the Ginge Connections. I just think Potter's Charm takes all the beating here. Sean, are you going to be backing Potter's Charm at even money? Do you think it's a good price?
Yeah, look, if there's one short one of the weekend that I will be having the lot on, it's going to be this lad. I just think he's a good thing. Now, one thing I want to do pick up on with is Nigel Twiston-Davies. I don't understand when they get these good horses why they absolutely run them into the ground.
I was just going to say this, Sean. I was just going to say
yeah.
And I'll wrote down a stat later, Sean. Once you've done your bit, I'll come to mine. I've noticed something with this race. But yeah,
all right, calm down, you hammer.
it's like they get so excited and they have a decent horse and all of a sudden they just want to keep going and going and going to the well, and unfortunately these aren't machines. We've seen the last way with Broadway Boy last season. He had a good horse on his hands, and by the time he got to Cheltenham he was cooked. But that's just me worry in terms of looking forward to March. But coming to this race, I think he's an absolute good thing. Coming back around Cheltenham, he won twice here earlier in the season. His Liverpool run in Aintree at Christmas time, you couldn't see much of. It's all under the fog, and you just seen him coming out, and he had the battler out to win. But that was out down over 2 miles, back up to 2.5 miles here. As I said, he's touched off Valgrand earlier on in the season around here, looking very, very good. And look, you go through the opposition. Bill Joyce beat Quebec was at Sandown that time. He then went to the Challow Hurdle. Joe, you might want to close your ears. No disrespect at all to the Challow Hurdle, but I think the favourites tonked them, and you have Wendigo in second. Is he what he is? I think he's going to be a 3 mile in the distance, but let's be honest, Wendigo ain't near the level of Potter's Charm, and the horse is in behind. I just want to take that form with a pinch of salt. I don't think it's that good, and I think Bill Joyce wants really, really deep ground and a trip in time. So you're talking possibly weighed out being his biggest opposition. He showed by Celtic Dino he got the better of, and Potter's Charm firmly put him in this place or Aintree. So I think you come to this race going around the track, he acts at, ground he acts on, back up to his trip. I think he's an absolute good thing.
Totally agree with everything you said there, Sean, and I do think as well be probably one of my stronger bets of the weekend. Ian, you had a lot to say with your notes and your stats. Tell us what you have.
No, basically, Sean has said everything I was going to say about the runs. He said he's had 4 runs already. This will be his 5th, going into his 6th into the Turners. I still think he will win, and I totally agree about Bill Joyce. I think he'll need to step up to 3. He was saying about the I think Quebec was beaten by him 5 lengths, and this time around I think he's getting the £5 back from Bill Joyce, so there probably won't be much in between the two. But you were saying about runs. See, Potter's Charm will potentially have a 6th run going into the Turner's Novice Hurdle. If you look at previous winners, Ballyburn had 3 going into it. Pere Passe had 2. So Gerhard had 2. Bob Bollinger had 3, and Envoy Allen had 3. So I just wonder if it could affect, to say, the C6 run going into the festival, whether it could be a bigger factor at the festival. But yeah, I think Potter's Charm will win, but whether he'll go on to win at the festival could be a different story.
I do like what you've said there, Ian, because I said earlier in the season after he won up at Aintree, my reading on the race and the way they campaigned them was potentially they split himself and there was the other horse, was it Regent Stroll? I don't know if connections are linked at all. and they split them up there. And I just thought maybe they knew themselves that Potter's Charm wasn't quite up to this top grade one level come the festival. Hence, they're trying to get the prize money in the bank whilst they still can, and they just see this as another opportunity before March. So, might be wrong. So, the Potter's Charm fans out there, don't panic just yet. Ginge, what do you think?
Yeah, look, everything Sean said, I was literally going to say the same thing. He's having his fifth run now. He's running September, October, November, December. He's now running in January. Like, what are they trying to do to this poor thing? Like, you know what I mean? He's probably going to win and come out and do the goods because he's the one that's got the form on the faster surface. Bill Joyce, like Sean said, he definitely needs it deep. Quebecois not going to go on this fast ground. Wade Out, his only defeat has come on good ground so far. 6 Mile Bridge will probably surprise if you're on these faster surfaces. He's sort of bred to do better in these sort of conditions. But I think Potter's Charm is probably going to be the likeliest winner. Just one thing to mention, there's a horse there called Cadeau Saint Frey for Anthony Honeyball. He's actually 2 for 2 under rules. He also won his point to point nicely. And he's actually by Masked Marvel out of a dam called Saint oh, I've forgotten her name, but she bred some nice horses like Crackaway Jack, who've had some really sort of good form over these sort of trips. So I wouldn't mind keeping an eye on him if he goes forward. But look, if Potter's Charm can't beat these, then he's got no chance at Cheltenham. But like the lad said, I wish they just put him away now and went there with their expectations that they've still got a nice unexposed horse going forward. But look, he's the one that on paper he ticks all the boxes, doesn't he? And he's going to be hard to beat. But just keep an eye on Cadeau Saint Frey for Honeyball here. I think if he goes off in front, he might be hard to catch being by Masked Marvel.
It's Magic St. Frey, Ginge.
Cool, perfect. Yeah, the damn sire, I think it is, boss man. Is he called Pedro?
Pedro the Great.
Pedro the Great, there you go. And they've had the likes of like Crackaway Jack and some other sort of nice 2 mile, 2.5 milers. So if they decide to go forward with him, he's got stamina, he's got speed. The Masked Marvels, they've got that sort of combination. He could be hard to catch. I don't know where he's going to go moving forward, but I'd be inclined to say that he's quite a nice horse at the same time.
No, so another positive there because Crackaway Jack, of course, was a festival winner. So the breeding
Yes.
line obviously works well on the undulations at Cheltenham. We've seen it already with Potter's Charm. Jamie, is it another full house with you for Potter's Charm?
I was going to say the same, but I'm trying to get him beat, and I want to get him beat. He's £10 obviously ahead of Bill Joyce. There's something telling me exactly what Joe and all you were saying and Sean is saying is that he's running too much, and his 146 he's stealing. Do you know what I mean? Bill Joyce, exactly what Ian says. Like in Sandown, he was given £5 to Quebecois. Now, if this was an 8-runner race, I'd be all over 7-1 Quebecois all day long. And I know it says on the Racing Post app at the moment it's good ground, but we have a storm coming in, lads. So if it's going to rain, it's going to be heavy ground.
True.
So that really brings in Quebecois. It does. It really does. And I was trying to look at it all day, and I'm trying to get Potter's Charm beat. I want to get him beat because I don't think he's any good, to be honest with you. So I'm going to go, sadly, with Quebecois because I think if it's a slog up the hill like Bill Joyce, £5 the other way, exactly what Ian's saying, is that Quebecois is going to get closer. So I know we're getting first two, but like if you give me 7-4 a place on Quebecois, top two, I'm going to back Quebecois, yeah, all day because of the run behind Sandown, behind Bill Joyce. But obviously, Bill Joyce technically has the best form of the race, 5 lengths behind the new line, who's touted obviously for Supreme or a Ballymore. I'll always call it Barrymore. I'm going to go with the value. I'm going to go with Quebecois. Process of elimination, and just the fact of the matter is that do you know what it was like last year? Gilly Park won this race. He barely won. It's just something's telling me that he's going to get beaten, and I think he's too short. Potter's Charm, and all jokes aside, and I'm going to go Quebecois. I think it's the value of the race, 7-1. If you give me 7-4, 2 places, I'm going to back that. I think it's between Bill Joyce and Quebecois. I think Potter's Charm is going to be found out. That's just me.
And that's the thing, James, like you just said there. If he does come here and he gets turned over, Cheltenham credentials are gone. Why don't they just leave?
They're all gone. They're all. I think.
Leave him open to that.
I think exactly what you're saying, Joe. 100% agree with you. I think they want to win this race because he has no chance at Cheltenham. That's just me, and just no disrespect for connections. I think they're going to try to win a race that they think they're going to win, and sometimes that doesn't work out, and especially around Cheltenham.
It's similar to what we're saying about Long Press.
He hasn't. Yeah, no. Before I exactly agree with you. He hasn't been on the new track.
Yes.
Okay.
Interesting.
He come back and he's won at the entry. It's a 2-mile race on the flat track. He's won all his races against handicappers who are looking for a mark. the old track is a speed track. The new track is a stairs track. He will be found out.
Interesting.
Okay.
Big call from Jamie. That's what we want.
So Jamie is against Potter's Charm and Quebecois is his play in a race. So we've covered Cheltenham. I'm going to jump back later on in the show to quickly ask a couple of questions about some other runners on the card, but we're going to move on to Doncaster. It's the 205, the first race we're going to look at there, which is the Potemps Network Riverdon Novices Hurdle, a good Albert Bartlett trial traditionally. I'm not even going to waste my time talking about this race myself because I never get the winner of this and I don't have a strong opinion at all. Jamie, I'm going to jump straight back to you. The
I'm
River
with
Don.
you here, Scotty. Sorry for cutting across you. I have absolutely none for this. I looked at this race 100 times, upside down, left, right, centre. I have nothing for this. No disrespect to anybody.
Nothing wrong with that, Jamie. Sitting on the fence is fine. If you don't have an opinion, it's pointless wasting time on that. Boss man, I was being very diplomatic there, boss man, but I'm going to go to you next. You just caught my attention as they talk to us.
That's
Never
your
like
own
a Frenchman trying to talk to an Irishman how to win things.
Oh.
Just remember the World Cup and Thierry Henry, okay?
Oh, that's a dig. Don, back me up, will you?
I can't even say anything to that.
Yeah, you weren't even born.
No. I want to go for Moon Rocket this time, Scotty. I think he's one of the only horses in this race that has won at a distance under rules. So he won 3 miles at Southwell on New Year's. The only other note I put, he's getting, getting £3 from the favourite Western Knight. And that's about it, to be honest. To say there's some of the others I looked at, Marchand 2 and Games to Sky. A lot of these haven't gone the 3 mile distance, 2.4, 2.5. So that was basically what caught my eye. So he's won in the course's distance and he's made the hurdle as well. But yeah, Moon Rocket for me.
Yeah, nice 3 mile point to point winner as well. Ian. So yeah, I do like that. That's keeping it simple, but sometimes that is the way to look at racing. So, Joe, what do you think in the River Don?
Yeah, I got quite a strong fancy here, actually, Scott. I think Jigs Forge is hell of a bet for Ben Pauling. Machan too, although he's winning nicely, he's beaten next to nothing. He got hammered by Celtic Dino, who, of course, is a horse I really like. But the form that he was so far behind, you can't really take that into consideration. Moon Rocket for me just isn't going to be good enough. He's beat absolutely nothing. I think he'll do better for real deep, heavy conditions. Western Knight got found out by JetBlue, but he'll have no problem at the trip. But I think Jigs Forge is an absolute good thing here. I like horses, especially when they're novices, that do a lot wrong and still manage to win nicely. He was keen. He went from the front and he beat a horse called Blue Lass, who's actually since gone on to win in really good style for Di Walters. Now, this is a horse that actually was pushed along sort of 2 furlongs out, 3 furlongs out, found plenty, and then just drew clear up the home straight. I've got no concerns at all about him stepping up to 3 miles. It's also probably significant that Ben Pauling's running the likes of Mambo number 5, 6 Mile Bridge, and a few other horses at Cheltenham. Yet Ben Jones is coming over here to Doncaster for the River Don to ride Jigs Forge, and I think that's actually quite significant. He's a horse that's definitely going places. Like I said, he jumped really poorly at the beginning of the race, but if you look at how he started the race and how he finished, he was like a completely different animal. I think the step up in trip to him is going to bring up much more improvement. I think the others in this lineup are going to have to come forward a fair way to catch him. I think the 6-1 is an obscene price here. I actually thought he was going to go off near favourite with Western Knight at around 2. I just think I don't understand the 6-1 price tag here. He's a horse going places, and he'll definitely be one of my stronger bets this weekend. I will take the each way money. Love a 6-1 each way shot. But look, I think he's going to take the world of beating here. I really, really do.
Yeah, Jigs Forge. I do believe there's a bit of 10 still pushing around if you shop carefully around. So he's by Westerner as well, who, like you say, traditionally is a producer of staying horses. I think like Mr. Incredible and Keeper's Hill, those kind of horses from recent times. Sean, is the River Dawn a kind of race that you like getting stuck into, a 3 mile novice hurdle at Doncaster? Is that your kind of thing? Do you ever look at Doncaster from your side of the Irish Sea?
I bet it's not.
No, do you know what? The purpose of the podcast, I did go through it. Look, I understand Joe's point. I do think if there's a ringer on the outside, it's probably the one that Joe's put up, Jigs Forge. But I just thought the favourites were wrong at the top of the market. Like Marchand, look, I think he's an out and out stayer. He's by Shantou. You have the likes of Stay Away Phase, Shanty Classicos, Dead He's back in the day. Like, this is stamina true and true. And if you look at his racing, Joe did say he was beat 2 miles first day out by Celtic Dino. And I don't know how on earth, looking at him now, how he even won a bumper over 2 miles is beyond me. And we know it's soft ground and hunting is probably why he got away with it. But if you watch him at Warwick and stepped up and trip, he was very good. Then the last day, he went and beat Excello. He's off it for, I'd say, about 6 furlongs. Never looked happy at all, Harry Cobden. But one thing this horse did was he just kept founding. He found and found and found all day. And it's that run at Windsor. You have a line there with Excello that's ran very close with Western Knight. He beat Mashantu beat Excello further than Western Knight managed to beat him. I know Western Knight went on to Cheltenham then after and came second. But he has to give £3 here. And I think if you look at that line through Excello, you have to give away £3. I thought the market might be just a little bit wrong. And for a horse that I think is going to stay all day, you just have to watch his wins or run the last day. I know it's a sharp track around there, but he was only getting going at the finish and he got up to beat him. And I just thought maybe they might flip flop in the market come the time of the race.
Okay.
Good target trader, to be fair. Sorry, just to mention her, Scotty. She does well, Emma Laval, sort of targeting these sort of races, to be fair. Like, I know I gave the horse a bit of stick, but it wouldn't be the biggest shock at the same time. And, Sean's making really valid points there. So
it's a pretty split opinion across the board there, but yeah, a couple of nice each way bets in the race there from the panel. The 240 is the next race at Doncaster, which is the Grade 2 Virgin Bet Yorkshire Rose Mares Hurdle. Excuse me. I think this is a lovely race. Traditionally throws up some real classy, I'm going to say great horses, the likes of Annie Power, Epitant. I mean, Ashroad Diamond was a very good horse last year. She won it for Willie Mullins. This year, I don't know if the renewal is quite as good. I'm going to be honest. I think the favourite here at the moment, Katira, is opposable, in my opinion, for the Skelton team. Jatara, who I think has been disappointing this season, is next in the market at 5-2. And the horse I like for the race is Why Not at 4-1. And then it is 9-1 bar. Sean, straight back to you. Do you think there's anything in the race that will tempt you into having a play?
Yeah, you've hit the nail on the head there. I think with Why Not, Scotty. Katerra is just not a horse that I really like. I find it hard to get her right with her on the day. Jatara up to 3 miles. I'm not so sure she can be forward going, and I'm not too sure 3 miles is going to be her bag. But Why Not? We watched her the last day together, and she stepped up to 3 miles for the first time. She was absolutely punted off the boards at Doncaster the last day. The Dan Skelton horse was in the race on the day. The name just escapes me now. West Balboa. West Balboa was in the race, and there was absolutely no queries about stamina for her. She was kicked off the front. I think Doncaster is a track. If you get in the rhythm off the front and you stay all day, you can make the most of her out there. And I think coming in here, I'd say they'd be looking to try and get Jatara to drop the head. Possibly won't be looking for a lead. Katira won't be taking the lead. And I just think if David Bass grabs the bulls with a horn here, he could get out in front. I know Casalunga likes the lead, but I'd say he'd be up there fairly enough. He'd be confident she'll stay. And I just think at 11-4, I'd say that could be a plunge of money for her on the day.
Yeah, I do like that, Sean. I think Why Not as well. Her form ties in really well with Potter's Charm when she obviously won that race at Doncaster, beating Gail Marler. I know it was an early season piece of form, but it does still tie in. So if Potter's Charm wins and Why Not win, it would be a good Cheltenham piece of form going into the rest of the season. So, Ginge, I got a feeling there's one you like here. I'm just looking at you, you're like ready to jump on one. So hit us with it. Come on.
I do, mate. And Sean's just gave it no hope, and with Jatara as well. Like, so started. But look, I backed Della Casalunga last time out when she actually won at Kempton. She was stepped up to 3 miles. I'll tell you what, that was some ride. It was really like my ride or my performance of the week that day. She set the fractions. She gave her a little bit of a breather coming around the home turn, and then used every ounce of that energy to get her across the line in front. And the timing of those fractions from Richard Patrick was just superb. It really was one that sort of went a little bit underestimated. Now, this one's where I've sort of taken a bit of a view to tactics here. I know Della Casalunga likes to go forward. Why Not likes to go forward as well, who I was really impressed with too the last day. But I do think that the Irish horses travel that little bit better than the English. On that basis, with Why Not and Della Casalunga going forward, I am going to side with Jatara here. I understand she has been a bit disappointing, and 3 miles may not be ideal for her, but the fact there's going to be a fair bit of pace on from the front two, trying to obviously take every bit of energy out of the ones behind her, I just think Jatara is going to travel all over them and pick them off late. So I'm sort of opposite with Sean there. I see both angles, but I am siding with who I think is going to be the stronger traveller in the race. And the fact that those two are going to go forward, I think she's the one that it sets up for, basically.
Yeah, she's got a lot of experience. She's running handicaps as well, so that will definitely play into her hands. Jamie, are you a Jatara fan in the race, or are you going to be looking elsewhere?
I'm with my esteemed Irish colleague in the dub. Why not? It's an absolute good thing here. Look back at the race. Sean's after describing the whole race that I did. Why not? Like, Bass is going to go out in front. Catch me if you can. And they will not get past. Why not? Not a hope. Not a hope in hell. The softer the ground, the better. I know it's one on good ground at Cheltenham. We know that. We know that. Gatira, they've all won at 3 miles, Scotty, and just no respect for all of them. Like, Gatira was well touted last year, getting £7 from Denton City, and we were there in the Dublin Race Festival at the thing. And I told you Denton City will beat the whole lot of them. But no, it's exactly what Sean says. You go out in front of Doncaster, you set the fractions, and away you go. And like 72 is buying money here. Why not? It's an absolute good thing. And I'd say no more.
I do like that. I mean, front running tactics, I always say, I've said it 100 times. Newbury from the front, very similar course. I think Doncaster into running styles, especially over 3 miles, could take some pegging back. Bossman Ray, hit me with one. I really hope you pick something out left field. Have you got like 100 to 1 winner for us, or are you keeping it simple?
Sadly not. I'm going to follow the Irishman. I like Why Not as well.
Yes.
So very similar to what I said about Moonrocket, funny enough. She's obviously the only mare to win at this distance and courses distance. I think she won by 8 lengths in December. She's gone up £8 since the win, but I think she's got plenty under the bonnet. Jatara, that the guys were saying about, I think she just held on for a win at Limerick over 2 miles 7. And Katira, I think she's rallying some Class 1 races over 3 miles. But for me, I think she's better over the middle distance. So rather than say what the guys have said, I like Why Not as well.
Okay.
Why not?
Just thought I'd point out, I was the one that first said
Why not?
I fancied. So all the Irish jumping on my Jersey bandwagon, fair enough. So Why Not gets a popular vote across the board, and Ginge likes Jatara.
Probably
There's one race at Fairyhouse on Saturday we're going to quickly look at, and I think it's potentially a cracker. And I think this will split opinions, this race. It's the 138 Grade 3 Solarina Mares Novice Hurdle over 2 mile, 2 furlong. Again, a race that's got a real good roll of honour, the likes of Jay DeGrushy, who won the race last year, Ashroad Diamond, Allegory Devati, and the last horse who I think that won the race in 2018, Lorena, who went on to win the Mares Novice at the Cheltenham Festival. Sean, I know you've got an opinion on some of these Vega horses.
Vega.
I'm going to start with you. And I want you to talk to me about Aurora Vega.
Don't do it, Sean.
Good? Is she a potential?
Don't do it, Sean. Don't
do it, Sean.
Talk to me about Aurora Vega and talk to me about what you
She
fancy.
wins, Sean. She wins.
Yeah, look, as the lads know, I have a love for these Vega horses. I know the lads that are in down the syndicate, and look, I just think coming in here, my biggest worry would be the storm that's due. I just don't think she's seen the best effect on deep ground. Now you're gonna go and say to me, yes, she won on Gowran on heavy ground. That took a lot out of her that day. That took a hell of a lot out of her. Took a few runs to get the confidence back under the belt. She then went and had a run first time out at Cork, and then she's went to Wexford. Now, you could say the ground on the day at Wexford, but she did also come out clinically lame, and she was not great after. So to bounce back, I think to go to Fairyhouse the last day was very good to see her back on the train. The standout thing for me is, and how Willie's work is that Paul being on board is probably a significant sign. He gets the dips on all days, and he was a late one this morning, because Brian Hayes was submitted early on Baby K, and it was a question of, is Paul actually even going to Fairyhouse? But then Paul was stuck up, and she has to give away a penalty. I think the last day we seen her, she jumped well. I thought she jumped better when Paul left her alone. She jumps really well at home, they say, and she's just been a little bit disappointing. But I thought when Paul left her alone, she found her own way about, and maybe that's just how she has to be ridden. You have to just let her find her feet herself and go. Look, I don't think she's a superstar just the way her brother was, but look, she's not picked up black type already. I think she well deserves her spot. She's already won around Fairyhouse. But if you're looking from a betting proposition, I'd just be worried on deep ground she might be found out.
Yeah, I think that's a good point, Sean. Ian, I seem to remember me and you sitting next to each other on a certain bus going to the airport at the Dublin Racing Festival last year, and Aurora Vega was running in the bumper at the time, and I think we backed her and she didn't win. Are you more forgiving than I am? Are you going to be backing her on Saturday?
I will be actually. I think it's purely because of the experience that she's had before, as Sean was saying about her wins previously. Willing to forgive the when she pulled up at Wexford. I think I made a note here. She had
Yeah, she went.
She's clinically abnormal or whatever that means. But
yeah, she went wrong that day. So there's definitely viable excuses for Wexford.
But yeah, so I know Baby Kate was. I think she was not beat, was she? I've got. I know she beat the well fancied JB Halls in the last run. I know she had a bit of a mixed bumper campaign. But yeah, not much else to say. So I've put Townend has got a 43% strike rate at the minute for Willie Mullins, which I think is outstanding. But the other one I looked at, I think, was in the two-tone greens. Mongibello, I think it was beaten. I think Aurora Vega beat it by 2.5 lengths. Now, obviously, this time I think this given a couple of pounds, so that it could be a bit closer than it was last time. But I'll stick with Aurora Vega for the win.
Okay, Aurora Vega for Ian. Jamie?
I'm exactly what Sean says in the way that if the rain comes, there's only one winner of this race. And it's not Baby Kate. It's not Aurora Vega. It's Fancy Girl. I think Townend's got this completely and utterly wrong. Watch back the race that won the bumper in Cork. It needs heavy ground. Heavy, heavy, heavy. And she's a big, huge, leggy action horse of a mare. Obviously owned by the Hurricane Fly crowd. It screams out. Look, we know Baby Kate. Baby Kate's beaten Caroline Bamboo, but the third horse today in Gorham Park in the first race completely washed the form in my book. But exactly what Sean says. Like, I think Aurora Vega needs better ground. It's like Fastile Vega probably needs better ground. I know Fastile Vega won the bumper DRF on bog ground and all that. All those Vegas in my book need better ground. And Baby Kate got up to beat Caroline Bamboo at Naas. I understand that and just outstated, but Caroline Bamboo was having its first race and the whole lot, and Baby Kate ran in that Grade 2 bumper last year. Look at that Grade 2 bumper last year. Diva Luna, Jubilee Alfie, La Marquez, Meccaina, Listen to Your Heart. They're all there, like, Honky Tonk Highway, Baby Kate. Baby Kate beat Antigello by 20 lengths. I understand that. There's the form, Baby Kate. But on bog ground, and if there's a storm coming, right-handed, and the way it won that bumper where Patrick Mullins kept it up the inside in Mallow in Cork, all the way up the inside on bog ground, leggy, big, huge accent horse. Fancy Girl is my tip. I think Fancy Girl is an absolute good thing here. Would I back her to win a Mayor's Novice at Cheltenham? Oh, God, no way in the world. But I think it's just going to be, this is its day, and back Fancy Girl.
Jamie, you're making some very strong cases tonight, and I must admit, when you're in this mood, you just talked me into it. Fancy Girl.
Yeah.
I'm going to be at darts on the weekend, and I'm probably going to be about 6 Guinnesses deep by the time the race is ran. So I probably won't be looking at the weather. Joe, help us out. Are you a Fancy Girl fan? I've seen you nodding and approving Jamie's pick there. Am I thinking along those lines? You're in agreement?
Yeah, definitely. I'm with Jamie. I think Fancy Girl is probably the one to be with here. Like Sean made obviously a point saying Paul Townend gets the pick of these. Do you know what? I wonder if on this occasion he felt obliged to ride Aurora Vega, just with the prestige behind the breeding and the fact the Hammer and Trowel Syndicate own her. I don't know what you think about that, Sean. Do you think there's anything in that before I sort of make my case? Could be, right?
If anything I know about Paul Townend, he wants to win, and I think look, you could. I do think they do love them. Patrick included, they absolutely adore them, and I know that comes from the Convega point. Willie adores them, but it could be Joe. But I just would have thought Paul Townend, especially this time of the year, it's all about winning for him.
Yeah, true. And he's like you said, like Bossman said, he's flying at the minute as well. Didn't he? Had Nick Rocket today and Keita Bourbon too as well. Yeah, as well. Another winner. But yeah, look, I'm like Jamie. I think this sets up nicely for Fancy Girl. I'm not going to be having a bet in this race. It's not the sort of I wouldn't want to be parting any cash here, but I think Baby Kate is a little bit of a forgotten horse mind. I think she's pretty smart and she's winning races when people aren't necessarily expecting her to do so. So look, I'm not with Aurora Vega. I'd be with Fancy Girl or Baby K. I'd quite happily take on the pecking order number one here, but no bet for me at the same time.
Okay. So a few votes for Aurora Vega and a few for Fancy Girl. Going to quickly have a look at Sunday. We haven't got the final declarations, but we're going to jump over to Naas. And the first race we're going to look at is the 2 p.m., which is the Grade 3 Limestone Lad Hurdle, run over 2 miles. Phil Duderry is in the race, but he's been declared to run on Saturday and he's jockeyed up. So it could be a pretty small field. For me, it's going to be one of the races where everybody just tunes in to see how Amsterdam gets on and performs. He's obviously got a very big reputation. Willie Mullins, I know, Joe, when you were there the other day, he spoke about how he put him in the bracket the same the likes of Majborough last season. Obviously had a few problems, didn't he? But I think Aspire Tower will finish second to him. For me, it's quite straightforward. I think that will be the forecast. What do you reckon, Joe? I mean, Amsterdam, he's probably short enough for the champion hurdle with people dark horse outside at 12, 10 to 1 around about. Do you think he's going to, first of all, will he win this race? And do you think he's got a chance in the champion hurdle?
I think he's definitely going to win this race. I can't see past him. He beat Carla Conti quite easily, giving a weight away as well. And she's no mug at all. She's definitely got a lot of ability herself. But just the way he moves, just the way he travels, it's just hard not to like what he did. And he jumps pretty good as well, to be honest with you. So I'm not sure I'd give him a chance in the champion hurdle. I'd like to think he does, but in reality, he's probably going to find it a year too soon. But look, this is going to be a vast improver. And just the way that Willie was talking about him just sort of tells you the story. Like you said, he put him in the same grade as Majborough. He was gutted he couldn't get him to Cheltenham last year, but he seems ready to rock and roll here. He was really impressive to beat Carlo Conti. I think it's just straightforward. He goes out and wins this. And look, I know you've got Beacon Edge, Phil Duderry, and Aspire Tower, and they're not exactly grade one animals as such, but they are good horses. So we'll get a good marker of how good Amsterdam is at the weekend, and he's gonna prove very, very hard to beat. They certainly wouldn't be running him as well unless he was ready to go, and that will then give him a nice gap between here and the Cheltenham Festival. So look, he's a very, very exciting prospect, and I advise everyone just to tune in to see how he goes. Really.
Yep, fair enough, Ginge. Jamie, are you in the same camp? Amsterdam just wins?
Oh, 100%, Scotty, 100%. He is a serious dark horse for the champion hurdle. I really do think he is. He's an unknown quantity. I like unknown quantities. He's not in the, what was that 4-year-old, 5-year-old that won the champion hurdle that year?
Espartella?
Espartella.
Yeah.
He's probably in the mold of that. No jokes aside, but no, he's very interesting. I think they should have put him against Lassie Mountain Stateman in the next week in the DRF to see what he's like. But look, they're taking the soft way out, softly, and see how good he is. You never know. And William Mullins praises him, and you have to take note.
Okay. Another strong vote for Amsterdam. Sean, you in the same boat here?
Yeah, absolutely, Scotty. I think they're probably stuck between a rock and a hard place here in terms of they've blown the handicap mark, and he's probably not just ready enough for a champion hurdle, but I do think he's a serious horse. Like you said, he touched off Carla Conti the last day. She's rated 138, given her £2, and absolutely annihilated her by 6.5 lengths. And this lad's turn of foot now is outrageous for a jumps horse. Holy God, he's electric. What we seen the last day when Paul gave him a squeeze, God, what was under that bonnet was unbelievable. He kicked the last day out of the way, and you wouldn't even have thought there was a hurdle there at one point. His momentum just kept going forward. I think what he had under that bonnet that day was a horse, a really, really smart horse. That was probably a 150 performance alone. And look, I know you have some very, very good horses, but he is a dark horse. He is a local. I just think maybe it might be next season. And they sounded absolutely devastated that he couldn't get to the Shrine, because I've no doubt he probably works like an absolute machine at home, just the way he goes through his races. But yeah, look, stepping stones, he'll win here on Sunday. And I'd say they probably will go down the champion hurdle route. But if you're just worried, maybe it might come a bit quick, and perhaps he's a horse future in mind next season could be where you see him shine.
Do you reckon they'd like skip with him this year, even if he wins?
Yeah, they could. They probably even could, Joe. I was thinking about that myself. Like if the Donnellys, they have State, man, they might be happy enough to throw one dart and maybe take it slowly with him.
They wouldn't want to blow 2 dots up if they got on hill either, would they?
Well, I think they'll throw the dart, lads. No offense. No offense. Like I know Willie's saying that he said he's number one, but Stateman's done after the last day. Come on. Honest to God, call a spade a spade. He's done.
I think if you're a brave man now to say Stateman's done, I think Jay.
He's done. He's done. No, brave man or brave not. They know this horse is coming up. they know they have hands of them on top of. He's done.
It's is a classic case of, like I've mentioned on previous years, that did Brighter Days Ahead just break his heart that day at Punchestown?
Correct. There you
I
go.
don't think so. I don't think so. I'd say he wasn't right the last day myself because I don't
It's
think.
not. No, no. I understand where you're coming from, Judd. Not at all. They
Yeah.
knew, like, if Town End, right? Look, we all know it's Elliot against Willie Mullins at the end of the day, right? They knew that King Kingsfield was going to go out in front, and they broke him. They broke him.
No, I'm not sure. I don't know. I don't know if
They
I.
broke him.
I think he'll be. I think he'll be better. I think he'll be better
They
next time. Maybe I'm.
broke him.
Maybe I'm too
I
quick
don't-
because
Well,
he's.
look, we'll keep
Maybe
it
I'm
nice
too
and
quick.
tight because we're going to talk a bit of DRF shortly. So, Ian, I know you're a big fan of the Donnelly horses with Mr. Henderson, the likes of Sir Gino. So you're got to surely be on Amsterdam's camp as well here.
There's still drill coming off the lips from Lil Lamba last week.
Yeah. Yeah, not much to add but for what the guys have said. I say he was impressive with his win at Fairyhouse. You mentioned Carlo Conti. I think we spoke about Carlo Conti before, looking into the festival potentially. I've got my eye on one called Pinot Gris for Gavin Cromwell. He's obviously his horses are in form in a minute. He won his maiden hurdle at Naas in November and was only beaten in the neck by Enniskerry by one of old Bazza Connell's horses. So he's one that
And who was 8 legs behind him?
Yeah.
Who was 8 legs behind him?
Uh,
Go on, tell me, Ian.
got hang on.
No,
Back in
It's
the
a neck,
morning.
wasn't it?
No, who was 8 legs behind
Oh.
Pinot Green and his carry?
Hang
Was
on,
it-
hang on,
Carla Conti,
Like-
maybe.
Lack
tell me.
in the morning.
hang on, hang on.
Ah, Sean
Oh,
Dunn.
yeah, of course.
That's why I like Sean Dunn. He knows the track.
Your pipe horse, right?
But yeah, it's there'll probably be my two Amsterdam and Pinot Gris to follow him home. But yeah, not much else to add from what the guys have said, Scotty.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah, I just think Amsterdam wins as well. So it's a full house game of poker. There we go. I'm going to say before we go on to the 2:30, which is the Finley Ford at Naas Novices Chase. I think this could potentially be the best Novices Chase ran in Ireland this year so far. That's just my opinion. You've got the mare we all love here. I know me and Jamie and Ginge love Bioluminescence. I think Ian, you've spoke about her a bit. Sean, we'll ask you in a minute, but the form Frank today, Di Capo won that race at Christmas at Leopardstown, Key de Bourbon and Chapeau de Soleil, who were second and third respectively, have come out and been first and second, I believe, today in that race. Goodlands, he's obviously a very good winner of a Grade 1 as a novice hurdler. I think he's been running okay considering he's had a bit of time off. Shannon Royale, next year's Thyestes winner, is in there also. Better Days Ahead, who Ginge absolutely loves for the Brown Advisory, and my horse for the Browns, Dancing City. Sean, you're a Dancing City fan, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm a big Dancing City fan. If we turn up here, it is going to be a cracker. And look, you were asking about bioluminescence. If she can give him a pound, I'll eat me flip flop because there's a big she's not getting on Mare's £7 allowances probably for winning the graded race the last day. I just think he's a dour stare now. Better Days Ahead, I had me queries about. He hung at Leopardstown, he hung the first day. I just don't know if he's a bit of a tinker. He had every chance to sort of go and get Crow Park. He was at Leopardstown that day, and he just wanted the lug, and then he finally got out and got a run, and he was just beaten. And I just don't know, maybe they might think of putting a bit of headgear or something on with him. I just don't know if he likes to think about it. But back to Dancing City, I think the win first time out was unreal for him. Shown last season, he takes plenty of getting fit. And I think if you go and listen to Paul Down and he talks about it, he went to prick his ears going down to the last and done absolutely nothing. Done nothing on the home straight, and he had to give him a crack. He knew he was never going to get past by. For Dancing City, he wanted to make him sweat about how close Shannon Royale got, and Shannon Royale went out to win after. I just think the form is in the book. That Bartlett last year, I just thought it was funny. The front two got away. I think you had different tactics. You might have got closer, but you seen that Aintree reverse that form, and that Punchestown he went and followed up. And Dancing City for me, I think he's a top stayer. I'd say he'll have absolutely no issues, and he's not just flashy horses. There's probably why people won't buy onto him, but you don't want flashy horses for the Browns. You want horses who are going to dig in and get the job done. And I just think 3 miles one around Naas, it's going to take an awful lot of getting if we get a lot of rain. And Dancing City, I think he takes all the beating here.
Yeah, I love that, Sean. I think it's a brilliant case you've made, and I'm a massive fan, like I said, of Dancing City, but I'm also a big fan of bioluminescence. But giving weight over this distance could be a bit of a concern. Ian, I think, like I said, it's a very, very wide open race. I'm struggling to get into your mind here. I don't really know you.
Well,
You
that
kind
hard.
of no. Tell me what you're thinking in this race.
I'm. I keep seeming to agreeing with Sean, but I like Dancing City as well.
You just love agreeing with Irish people, do
I
you?
know. Was as Sean was saying, he said 3 wins since he's third in the Albert Bartlett behind Stella Story. There's form from the Aintree race, which is working out of it with the Jukebox Man. Winning since is now a contender for the Brown Advisory at the festival. Granted, it was over hurdles, so I think Dancing City beat Better Days Ahead over this distance, over 3 miles. Licky Watson was in the race and has come out of it since.
Mhm.
And I think at Punchestown last time out, the beginner's chase was Shannon Royale won next time out, but obviously, ironically, was pulled up today in the Fiestes. With the opposition, Better Days Ahead was beaten by Croke Park. Again, granted, it was a short head, but he still needs to win at that distance. And he's run over hurdles and over the chase over 3 miles. He's still yet to do it for me. And Bioluminescence, I think, is quite an interesting entry. Whether she runs over 3 miles, I'm not too sure. She'll probably go middle distance, as we've all said, for the mare's chase. But a good land as well. Joe might be able to tell us as well more about that. Going over 3 miles is an interesting entry as well. But yeah, I'll be going with Dancing City.
Okay, so that's 3 votes for Dancing City. Jamie, what do you think in this race?
Well, I tell you one thing, Scotty, all jokes aside, they want to be really good. The two of them, Better Days Ahead and Dancing City, give this mare £7. They really would want to be very good. It's like we were always talking about. Obviously, she was first time out, and we put up like she ran first time out in a grade 2. Look, the opposition might not have been great. No offense to the opposition, but I always said in my own head, look at the way Shannon Royale look at the way Shannon Royale ran into Fiestas today. That form to me is muck. No disrespect for people who put up the Dancing City form. Dancing City is a flat track horse. I'll stick to my opinion. I always thought because of the new rule now with the National Hunt Chase, he screamed that it is a Patrick Mullins horse for the National Hunt Chase all day long. Slowly, catch him for a bit of speed at the end. No offense to anybody for putting him up for the Browns. He's absolutely no chance in the Brown advisory. Not a hope in hell. That's just me. If you said to me that he goes off 6-7 to 1, the grade 1 Punchestown Chase, a novice chase over 3 miles, yeah, back and then. That's just me. Better Days Ahead. Got lucky. No offense, in the Martin Pipe, it rained and it rained and it rained after the Gold Cup. He got his ground and he won and he outstayed Keita Bourbon, Waterford Whispers up the hill. Obviously, Chapeau and Keita Bourbon ran today. I love Keita Bourbon, but look, he outstayed Chapeau today. You could see it. He looks like me, an old National Chase horse. That's just me. But they would really, no offense to anybody, and all jokes aside, they want to be a really good horse to give this horse £7. She's a 3 miler. She might be. Were you going down the route that she's a future Gold Cup horse? I doubt it. But she is really good, and I really like her, and I think she'll beat these.
Jamie, she has to give them £1 in this race, so she doesn't get £7.
Oh, she doesn't? But they want to be a good horse.
11-1.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah,
so
but
she's got to give £1 to the likes of Better Days Ahead and Dancing City. But like you said, if she does win and does put on a performance,
I think she's really good. I think she's really good. I think she. To be honest, regardless, yeah. Sorry, I didn't see that. But it doesn't matter. I think she'll beat him.
Good. That's a strong vote for our Mayor's Chase contender. Ginge?
Yeah, look, this is the race of the weekend for me, and I've got strong opinions on this race. First of all, I'll give you a quick word on Goodland because Bossman asked. Obviously, he's stepping up to 3 miles here. The plan with him is to run here, get himself a handicap mark, and then they're going to run him in the Leinster the National a week before Cheltenham. So that could be one, obviously, then to keep an eye on for him going forward. Look, I've never been a fan of Dancing City. He only does sort of what he needs to, just not my sort of horse. But I think we've got 2 Cheltenham Festival winners in this race. They're 2 horses that I've had significant, sizable punts on for the Cheltenham Festival. So it could look really good, or it could look pretty bad after the race. But look, bioluminescence, I love the fact that they're sending her up to 3 mile 1 for this race. She apparently, according to Cromwell, takes a little bit of time to get fit. But the fact that she won in the style she did last time against mares that were quite well touted themselves for some decent races at the Cheltenham Festival, being the Mayor's Chase. She beat them easy. I think she'll come on a ton for it. I really do. And I think come March, she's the one that you need to be on for the Mayor's Chase. But better days ahead. This is a Gold Cup horse in waiting. I am confident, very, very confident that this is a really smart horse. He's getting better with every run. And I know he didn't get past Croke Park the last day, but he made a few sort of uncharacteristic errors and didn't necessarily understand his job. But you go back to his novice hurdle days and he just improved run for run for run. That was, of course, at Leopardstown the last day. This time they're going to be at Naas, where they've got quite a slog coming uphill to the finish. And that is exactly the same reason why he won the Martin Pipe at Cheltenham. He loves that deep finish, and he's just going to keep thriving. The further and further he goes, the harder the test, the harder the finish, he will be a better horse. I've got no problem at all to say that he will beat Croke Park if that race last time was at Cheltenham.
Joe, but before we keep going, do you think he's a future Grand National horse?
I think he's a Gold Cup horse. I really think he's that good.
Maybe.
If you go and watch how he ran in his bumpers, he just looked like he was like Croke Park then as well.
Yeah.
You know, he looked like a horse that was dreadfully disappointing, but just as he's got better, he's filled his frame, he's got better for the stay-in trips. That was his first attempt at 3 miles over chases as well, 10 yards, and he was going to get past Croke Park there. You give him any sort of stiff uphill finish, he will pass Croke Park. I think he's better than Dancing City. No disrespect, I think they're very good horses. But I am so confident in his ability that I think when we get to Cheltenham, he's going to win the Browns. And I think this is going to be a horse we're talking about as a proper Gold Cup horse next year. He's a proper, like you mentioned, James, like he's an old school steeplechaser, like, you know, he's a big butch sort of horse. He's got stamina. He's got a bit of boot when need be as well. Look, it's a big weekend for my Ante-Post bets with Better Days Ahead and Bioluminescence, because they are two of my strongest fancies for the Cheltenham Festival in March. I'm really excited about this race more than any other this weekend.
Yeah, 100%. Like if Bioluminescence gives a pound to Better Days Ahead and Tenzing City, she must be the biggest certainty of all time to win the Mayor's.
Yeah, and again, I know we're not looking at that race yet.
Of course, But look,
Dino Blue, she hasn't really finished out the same this year. She might need like a wind off or something. Limerick Lace seems she's left her form behind in the Grand National, the Betfair Chase. You got How Could a Taber shouldn't even be marked up. Only by Night's a 2 miler. I just think.
What did I always say to you, Joe? Mayor's are this year's horse.
Absolutely. Like we said as well, you look at Dino Blue, one really good season, not quite been the same since. Limerick,
100%.
really good season, not quite been the same since. But Bioluminescence, this is a proper mare. By Walk in the Park, she was always going to do better when she got to the fences. Yeah, look, these are two really good horses that I've very much got my eye on this weekend. And the big weekend in regards to my Ante-Post book, because I've backed these two quite heavily for a long time as well. So I'm quite hopeful for a big run, basically.
Wicked. So some pretty good opinions there for that that novices chase on Sunday. Going to quickly throw the floor open to some questions. I'm going to ask a couple and I'm going to get some opinions. The first one is, I think this is a cracking maiden hurdle on Saturday at Fairyhouse. William Money, of course.
Yeah.
William Money runs in the race at Fairyhouse in the 2:13 on Saturday. Second last time to work ahead. And I think it's a cracking renewal. I mean, you've got Cowabunga, who was second as well to Kopek to Board, and Cocktail Diving, who was second to Kate Doty. Could be some very prominent horses in the novice hurdle division. Ginge, obviously you're very well connected to Barry Connell's yard. What is your expectations? Has Barry given you any clue about how William is prepped for this race?
Yeah, I mean, look, he's as bullish as ever. Like, you know, he basically said he wins whatever turns up. Now, I'm not necessarily sure I share that opinion, because I think Cocktail Divan's a very good horse. But last time at Leopardstown, William Money was really, really keen. It's very uncharacteristic of him. He's a very calm, cool, relaxed horse. And he'd sort of done his work early on in the race, but we've seen his turn of foot before. We know he's got a lot of speed. He jumps really well too. It's time for him to put it all together. That's the way I see it, and I'd be hopeful for a big run before he goes on to the Supreme. Anyway, that's all I'll say on the matter of Mr. William Money.
Okie dokie. So lots one to look forward to. A division that I think is really taking shape now is the Triumph Hurdle division for the juveniles. I think today we've seen Palladium at Huntington, Nicky Henderson's horse. I think that divided a bit of opinion on X this afternoon. He won, but I thought he was a bit green, very fresh. I think when he was asked to jump, he seemed to find it a bit workmanlike. It's very hard to crab a horse here. He's still a colt as well. He's a 4-year-old colt. He's not been gelded. I don't really know the ins and outs of whether that has an effect on a horse when they jump. We've got East India Doc, who's back in the Triumph Hurdle trial on the weekend. He's a 4 to 5 shot at the moment as we speak. Sauvignon, the well-touted horse for Paul Nichols for the Johnny Delahaye connections, he's going to be opposing. I think East India Doc is the best of the British we've seen so far. I still stand by that. Apart from the Nicky Henderson monster we saw last week in Lalamba. Sean was waiting for me to slip up then. I just want to get everybody's opinions on what they thought of all of the runs. I'm not going to waste too much time talking about East India Dock, but more so Lalamba and Palladium. Sean, how would you compare the two? And do you think there's anything in Ireland that you would be willing to take them on with at this stage?
Yeah, look, I'll just throw back to that maiden for a second, Scott. I just think you have three proper horses there now. You have William Money, who done everything wrong at Leopardstown. If able to drop the head, he ran a good race at Christmas. I'd be having a good bet now on this Cocktail Divine only for the Henry de Bromhead form. It's absolutely shocking at the moment. He's currently going at a 5%, 2 for 38, and you just had to look at Hidden Valley Lake today. But I seriously think the vibe about him at Christmas was outrageous. The amount of money I was out there at Leopardstown this day, he supposedly went to a schooling race and absolutely dotted up by half of the straight, and they couldn't see him beaten. He got turned over by Kay Dahi that day. I think that speaks a lot for him. And I just say the Cowabunga, I'd say he was given a nice little education right behind Kopek the boards. He was ridden off the pace a little bit, and I think you've three proper serious animals down there. You're probably grade one horses, definitely grade one competitors in my opinion that'll be running grade ones in the future. Back to your question, on the juveniles, I think was the juveniles, wasn't it, Scotty?
Yeah, I was just talking about Palladium at Huntington today and how you'd compare him to Lamba. And if
Yeah,
there's anything in Ireland, obviously we've got the likes of San Lucy, who's going to be in the Spring Juvenile, and is it Lady Vega Allen, I think, as well. Just what
yeah.
your handle on the division is at the moment.
Yeah, Palladium today, I think he got the job done. He wasn't flashy. He jumped well. I'd see that project is probably, look, it's hard to say. People see a 1.4 million price tag and think all of a sudden it's grade one wins and he just has to turn up. I'd say there's a bit of a down the road stud value. There's a lot going on there. I think that's more of a project rather than what that horse just does on the track. And they mightn't get to that grade one level, but now they've won a German Derby. They've got their win over hurdles. They can go down the breeding sheds down the route that they want to go. In terms of Lulamba, I was absolutely blown away. He was unbelievable. I thought the Mondo man, look, he was a seriously high horse coming off the flat. I know he pulled and probably pulled his chances away, but he didn't go a great pace and he got £10 that day. I know he done stuff wrong, but if he was good enough, he would have turned over Lalamba, and Lalamba absolutely put him in his place. I thought he done everything right. He jumped when he got in close to when he put himself right correctly. I like everything he done, and I think the most impressive part was the line. He's gone through that line like a train twice now. Once at Artoy, one at Ascot. He reached his highest finishing speed right on the line. He got up to 36 miles an hour. He done the exact same at Artoy, and I just think you're only barely touching the surface of what this lad is going to do. I think he absolutely justifies his place at the top of the market. I don't think 6 to 4 is a good bit now because you get 6 to 4 probably on the day. So I think you can wait a time and bide your time. On the Irish ones, look, I was very, very shocked. And the vibes are coming out about her through the stable tour. I was blown away by Lady Vega Allen in Leopardstown. I was completely blown away. She was ridden by Sean O'Keefe that day. I think she was given the education right out the back. The fog was down, so you messed them from the bend all the way to the line. But she was in last position before they went into the fog, and another stride, and she beat Hello Neighbor. Now there was serious talk about Hello Neighbor. The money was down, he won. But you have another yard, and Lady Vega Allen was going to get there. I think coming from a Willie Mullins camp, you know they're not going to be chewing first time out. And she was ridden like she was just getting an experience. For her to run that well, I think, under all circumstances, she was a 5 to 1 poke, and I know the money has come now because the talk was out. I couldn't believe she was the outside of the tree. I'd have her over St. Lucy. I know St. Lucy was good that day at Punchestown. Don't know what the form is worth, but and Hello Neighbor, as he said, ran against Lady Vega Allen first time out, and I think he might just be a bit keen. I don't think he get up the Cheltenham Hill. He might survive around Leopardstown. I don't think he's going to get up the hill. And Lady Vega Allen, I thought for a first run at a time that Willie Mullins was not going great, and the way she was ridden and how I expect that to come on, I think she's an absolute stonking mare. I think she'd be banging the mix coming to Triumph.
Just because there's
Love
Vega in
that.
the name, isn't it, Sean?
Well, she's actually relation. Funny enough, Joe, she's a relation to Quevega.
Yeah.
The blood is in there for Quevega, but not even that. Like I just thought
No, I know.
just yeah. First run for Willie at Christmas time, and they weren't going great. There was no winners on. It was only Kopek, the boards, Redemption Day. A couple that went down, and I just thought it was unbelievable what she done that day. I suspect she'll come on plenty, and as Willie touched on, she gets that £7 allowance. That's a massive swing, I think, in them juvenile ranks.
That's a fantastic analysis, Sean. I really like that. I'm a little bit sold on Lady Vega
Not much else
Allen.
to add, is there?
Well, Ian, we know you're the absolute chairman of the whole of the Essex County Nicky Henderson fan club. Talk to me about Lulamba and Palladium.
Look, I'll give you a little. I had a text from Lord Hendo today. He was saying about Palladium. It's got it said Hendo said the ground did suit him, and there's more to come. They've done very little at home, and they're potentially going to run at Kempton, which I think is the 22nd, which would only give about, was it 3 weeks before the festival? Might be kind of a bit fine, but yeah, I think potentially he's one for probably the flat campaigns. I think coming into the future, and as Sean said about the stud money, but yeah, the Lambert was. I was in the East India camp before we even see Lulamba. He was visually very impressive. I think the form has not been that great since. Some of the horses have come out and not done that well. But yeah, Lulamba absolutely blown me away, and it deserves to be at the head of the table, so to speak. But yeah, not not much else to add from what Sean said, to be honest.
Nice, I like it. Jamie, have you got anything else to add?
Yeah, go back what Sean said there about Kate Doughty, cocktail diving, here comes the money and all that, and Kawambunga. I hope Kawambunga beats the hell out of him because I think the one that won't beat any of them is Kopek de Board. And myself and Sean had a conversation that you said, Jamie, that you weren't a Kopek de Board fan after he, like, even what Willie Mullins said yesterday, we couldn't believe that he jumped so badly. Obviously he jumped so badly because Patrick Mullins was on it. You know what I mean? Call a spade a spade. Um, but yeah, I hope. Look. All jokes aside, it's a great race. Cocktail diving. Kambuga and William Money. I hope Kambuga wins for the Kopek the board thing. Going back onto Lulamba looked like another Sergino. Uh, he did. But going back to the St. Lucie, Lady Vega, Ellen, and Hello Neighbor. Look, we all know Hello Neighbor was very much touted for that race. So if you look back, we couldn't see it. Obviously, we couldn't see it with the fog and the whole lot, and they gave Vega and nearly got to Hello Neighbor. And I agree with Sean in a way that would I back Hello Neighbor to win the Triumph, I don't think he'll stay the extra furlong and a bit at in the Triumph. But because he was so touted for that race, right, and he still beat Lady Vega Allen, doing everything wrong, I think experience-wise, even though he's going to get £7 to Lady Vega and St. Nucci, now I think Lady Vega Allen probably favourite for the race. I will be all over at the Dublin Race Fest. I'm going to be all over Hello Neighbour because the fact of the matter is it's going to get better, obviously, with his experience and all that. But no, I'm Hello Neighbour will beat the two mares at the Dublin Race Festival all day long.
Okay, lovely. So it was a quick roundup of the juvenile division. I think the Mayor's Novice is going to be obviously a lot of move in the market this weekend. We mentioned the Sol Arena. We've got Diva Luna running tomorrow at Sandown, and Maureen is touted to make her novice hurdle debut next Monday at Punchestown. We've seen the news break today. So fingers crossed we get to see Maureen. So there's going to be a bit of shake up in those markets. Bossman, I know you've got to get off pretty soon, so we'll have a couple more questions. First of all, best bets for this weekend coming. I'm going to start with you, Joe. From the whole of the weekend, what would be your nap of this weekend?
Jigs Forge would be my nap of the weekend in the River Don, only because I'm not going to be back in either Better Days Ahead or Bioluminescence this weekend. I've hedged enough money on those for the Cheltenham Festival. I will back Jigs Forge each way at 6-1. But look, I think this is a really good bet. I think he's a very good horse. I think he's better than his rivals anyway.
Nice. Ian, your nap of the weekend?
I'll give you one that we've not discussed. It's a
Yep.
Cheltenham in the 150, and it's Soul Icon for Gavin Sheehan and Kieran Burke.
Nice. Is there any reason why you like Soul Icon, Ian?
I think it's just he won last time. He won the Desert Orchid at Kempton. He's beat horses like Edward Stone and Martator. He's made all. Some of these others, I think Iroko are probably going to go for another prep. Ginny's Destiny. Well, I know he won the race last year, and carried 12 stone, but he's not really matched the heights this season so far. So if you take them two out, I think Soul Icon's probably the next one for me. And I think he'll win.
Yeah, Soul Icon's form, who ties in well with Loader Sud from the Henry VIII at Sandown earlier in the season. Jamie, you've had some very strong cases for the weekends, but what is your best bet?
I backed a horse yesterday, Scotty, at Down Royal for Carl Thornton called Don't Talk. And he's in the first race again in Fairyhouse, the 12:28 in the first race of the thing. Fairyhouse, sorry. Obviously, to avoid the penalty, he won really well yesterday at Down Royal. So if he runs here, I wouldn't put anyone off Don't Talk in the first race at Fairyhouse on Saturday.
Don't talk. Saturday, Fairyhouse. Sean, what is your nap of the weekend?
Now, what's the absolute chances of this? Right, I swear we didn't plan this. But if you're talking about races, we covered Cheltenham. I think Porter's Charm is the good one now. The races we covered, but I have one in that 12:23. I have two horses in Ireland for you this weekend. I've won in the 12:28, the first at Fairyhouse on Saturday. I'm going against Jamie, but I just can't believe that we managed to fall in the same race. Big stage, horse of Gordon Elliott, ridden by Sam Ewing. I think this is a plot job in the making. You look at his beginner's chase. He's ran up against Firefox, where he's beaten 9 lengths. Could have got closer if he actually had been put into the race, shall we say. His next start then came against, he fell, sorry, against Better Days Ahead. And then he was toured to Imperial Pass at Fairyhouse. Went into Christmas, stepped up to 3 miles. I thought they thought this lad was going to be a stirring job no matter what trip they went over. He took a big bump at one of the fences, pulled too keen, and just didn't get home over 3 miles at Leopardstown. Sequester dotted up that day. Come back down to 2 miles here. I think he's a serious Rick now. He's off a mark of 1, 2, 3. I'd be shocked if this lad's
Would you
not
give
in
my
it.
would you give my horse a stone and a half?
Yeah, I think he has about £10 in hand, Jay. I think Big Stage genuinely has about £10 in hand. He's shown that he's able to mix at this level. He showed he was able to mix it up at Down Royal and at
I have another one
Fairyhouse.
as well. I have another one there. It goes on the line to sequestered as well. Yeah.
Do
And
you
then
think
the
Sean, they'll
second,
just go off? Do you reckon they'll just go off in front with him, like because
he takes a good pull, Joe. They have Killer Sheen in the race. I think it's going to set up absolutely perfect for him. That horse going to go out in front. That's his only way he knows. He'll take a handy lead off him, and I think he'll just bring him right into the race. He'll have a target to hit off and take her up off the bend. My second one, I expect to get a price on this now. It's a 23 minutes past 3 at Fairyhouse on Saturday. It's Duke of Lallygag for Mick Mulvaney. This horse has had his 3 starts now in maiden hurdles. It's been running over inadequate trips, in my opinion. He's ran 2.5 miles first time out against Wingman, well beaten. Was then dropped down where I think they tested the water to see where this horse is at. He ran at Navan in a 2 mile race behind Magic Boom and Eastern Legend. Eastern Legend then went on to finish behind Romeo Coolio, third in the grade one that day. A maiden that's not working out too bad, but I think that was the only off day that he had. He then went back up to 2.5 miles the last day where he took on Shuffle the Deck and was again traveling into the race and didn't stay 2.5 miles. So you're talking about a horse that's ran in maiden hurdles where you know you can't win and collected his mark in between. He's off a mark of 106 here. He's Carl Miller on board, a good Irish climber. He knows the time of day. Mike Villani knows how to land one, and I wouldn't be surprised. You'd probably get 12, 14 to 1 about this lad. I think is an each way poke.
Lovely.
Love that.
Just to go into there what Sean said about sequestering the farm. There's a 2.5 mile novice handicap in the first race at Naas, right? On thing, and Jasmine DeCott, who is involved with Paul Nolan's horse, right? Look, the way he travelled, he belted every fucking fence inside that race, right? Excuse my language. He belted every fence in that race, and now he's in that novice handicap. Yeah, if he's declared in that race on Sunday, I back it. Yeah.
Lovely. If I'm allowed a nap as host, I'm going to go for Why Not in the Yorkshire Rose Mares Hurdle up at Doncaster. I think 4 to 1's a stonking price. And I'm also going to throw in Gentleman's Game as my next best in the Cotswold. I'm going to finish the show with a little bonus nap question for
We're
the
doing an
DRF
anti-post.
next week. Next week at the DRF, all of you boys will be there. I will be at home manning the island of Jersey, making sure no one gets in. So I'm saving my powder till the end of the season, next end of the year to see you all again. Your best bet of the DRF, and I'm not allowing you to pick Galopin Des Champs. I'm going to
Scotty,
start.
do you know what? I'm sorry to cut across you. Now we're all DRF. I have a lucky 15 for you for Cheltenham. I thought that was on the running order.
We're
And
going to be
abs
doing that after this one.
okay.
We've got a Cheltenham selection after this.
Hold up, Sean.
Okay.
Hold up, Sean.
I'll kill the Jets. I'll kill the Jets.
I'm going
Patience,
to
brother.
quickly say, so you're not allowed Galopin Des Champs, whether you picked him or not, no problem. I'm going to go for Cade Doty in the 2 mile novice hurdle grade one. I think he takes the beating in that. So that will be my nap at the DRF. Sean, your nap of the DRF?
Don't
Absolutely
do it, Sean.
fantastic.
Don't do it.
You're
Don't do
just
it.
taking it
Don't
off
do
me,
it, Sean.
Scotty. You're
Don't
just
do it.
absolutely taking it off me. I think Kate Dye, this is a horse now that I absolutely adore. I've seen him twice now, and he's a horse that's some specimen. I tell you, when you get in the ring and people see him at Dublin Racing Festival, they latch on to him. He just looks like a good one. Bashed it off the boards the first day when he came down. Took an unusual fall, sort of stood on his hoof and clipped himself over, but he made no mistake about it the last day at Leopardstown. As I touched on earlier on, that Cocktail de Vin form absolutely punted off the boards. K. Dye went from odds on, drifted all the way out. Mullins was not going well at the time, still managed to get the head in front. You look at this race, right? He's been able to go off the front. People think, I don't know if people are worried about him not being quick enough. I think he has that gallop. He has that cruising speed that he talk about. He mightn't essentially quicken up the best, but he has that gear that travels the whole way at 2 miles, which I think you need to be able to do. And he's jumping could pick up a little bit, but I'm going to let him. He's only had one run. He only had one win over hurdle so far. His jumping wasn't deplorable, but if you watch him, I think people have not looked closely at Mark Walsh. Swung off the bend, Cocktail de Vin traveling all over him. Mark Walsh has not lifted this whip once. He's tickled him the whole way down the straight. He didn't even have to pull the chalet. He didn't even have to give him a backhander, and he's put him all the way to the line. I think K-Dye is a proper animal.
I love it, Sean. I watched that race back today myself, and I literally seen the same thing you seen. So brilliant that we're on the same wavelength there. Happy days. Ginge, you put your hand up, your nap of the DRF.
Yeah, future prospect. She just bolts home in the mares to win all of your DRF money back in the final race. She's a beautiful Order of St. George mare. She just absolutely wipes the floor with Jamie's mare. She
Sean, back me up.
destroys the field, lads.
She know him in, kid.
If Willie knows what to do, one thing is how to train a mare. She takes the world of beating, and I've made it quite clear that I'm going to be unloading my pocket.
Quite
I
clear.
love the confidence. I love a confident guy in a bit.
Love it.
And I'll be trying to win my DRF money back from all the races I've lost prior to that.
Lovely. Jamie, your nap of the DRF.
I two, and Sean's going to kill me about one. I think, to be honest with you, Scotty, just no offense, and whatever, Joe was obviously at Willie's yesterday and all that. 8-1 El Fabiolo when he comes back. Oh my God. I think it's stealing money. Like, he's definitely going to be in the first three. 8-1 each way in the Dublin Chase. Like, remember, he went off 1-4 to win a champion chase. And people forget that. I exactly what he said to you. Like I was like, I know Protectorate won the weekend and didn't want him to win before the Ryanair. I couldn't care less if Gaelic Warrior was beaten at the Dublin Festival. I couldn't care less because he'll still beat John Bond, the Queen Mother. But anyway, my nap the whole weekend, and Sean's going to go kill me.
He's letting the carry out a bag, and we can't even get a price yet.
Yeah, he's going to kill me. Right in the 2 mile handicap, the race,
the Liffey handicap hurdle.
Yeah, that Lord Erskine won last year and beat subsequent Ebor winner in Magical Zoe. Attaboy Charity is the biggest certainty of all time, and we leave it at that.
He's let it out the bag. He's gone out the bag. Price gone.
Look, a friend of mine, it's a good friend of mine, and a good friend of my uncle. He's not in a great way. God rest him. He said to me, and his name is Charlie, and Jamie, he goes to me last day, he goes, give me one horse for the Dublin Race Festival. I said, it's your name, Charlie. Attaboy Charlie.
Oh, I love it. I love it.
That's nice, Jamie. Nice. So attaboy Charlie for Jamie. Ian, do you have a Dublin Racing Festival nap?
Not Not really, if I'm honest. I'm just only.
We let you on there for our podcast.
I'll wait for Jamie to tell loads of stuff in the stands.
He's no absurd, Ian.
No. I was just looking at Nathaniel Lacey. I just wonder if something like Final Demand or something might be might be the one in that race.
No, Lorenzo.
One last time out at Limerick, over 2 mile 5, by 15 lengths.
Love that horse.
That might be the one for me,
But
Scotty.
all jokes aside, Ian, you could see the owner now saying that he wants these horses. Now, do you see him during the week, Drew, that he wants all the horses in France and Ireland?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Look out.
Yeah. Okay, final demand for Ian in the Nathaniel and Lacey. Last piece of the show, Cheltenham Lucky 15. Sean, give us your Cheltenham Lucky 15.
Yeah, sorry, I jumped the gun a little bit early, Scotty. I thought we were going to skip past that part. But look, I'm going to give you 50. I'm going to give you a lucky 15, 4 horses to back each way at prices, nice prices, and I'm going to justify it because I don't think it's right just to throw up big shots and just because they're the sake of the prices. But I'll give you a good run through why I think so. The first one is going to come at the Thames Network final. It's going to be the Wall Park for Gordon Elliott. Look, he comes in this race. He had 4 spins during the summer. He's got himself qualified, as we touched on earlier. He beat Gowroll quite comfortably the last day and was picked up by JP McManus. And I can promise you that was with a plan in mind. And it definitely wasn't a stayers hurdle they were looking at for him. He's then gone over to Ascot in a grade 1, where I think he showed good guts to dig in after the second last, where he came off it the whole way down the straight, but he did nothing but close. I think he's a working prospect, a future graded horse, but I think they're going to go down the handicap route. Off a mark of 152, you had Sawyer de Bourlays, who they've done it with in the past. They know how to do it, and I think he's going to be the number one come the day. And 10-1 they can get about him now. I think he's probably a 5-2 shot. I know you've won some, lose some up the top of the market. I think they exploited his mark very well at Christmas time off 125. He's gone up £10, and I'm not quite sure whether he'd be up to this level or not. So the Wall Park is going to be the first selection. The second selection is going to come in the Hunter's Chase. It's going to be Angel's Dawn. Look, a very good mare that's not on the decline.
You're copying all of my horses, Sean.
So look, she's a mare that comes in here, a 10-year-old mare, and you'd normally say coming in Hunter Chases, they're on the decline. But this is far from with this mare. I'm really, really shocked that they went down this route. She reached a highest mark last season at 142, and she ran. So look, middle long distance handicaps is her bag. She won't be afraid of a big field. It Toyesta's toured last season, and also notably, she's won around track and distance. Won the Kim Muir in 2022, beating Stumptown, and coming last year, she had a great chance down the straight. I thought when I know the way I think and came up on her outside. Unfortunately, she came down at the second last, but a mare that's went on to reach a mark of 142. She's getting £7 off. It's on the line. It's on the line. Has had 2 bashes at that race now. Happy to take him on. He had every chance last year. She's going to get £7, 142, essentially 149. If that's not in the mix in a Hunter's Chase, I'll be on the floor. So I think that's a second leg of your lucky 15 each way. I'll then skip down to the third leg. It comes in the Kim Muir, a bit of a wild price now, but I'm going to justify it for everyone. Gitmaker 33-1 in the Kim Muir. Look, he's a stonking bet. I think you look through this race, you have horses up the top. Now as the hours being smashed up for the National Hunt Chase, probably not going to come here. Transmission, who's also said by his trainer, is going to be going to the National Hunt Chase, also won't be coming up here. Then you take on the third one at the top of the market. You have Johnny Who, who's won twice, first time up each season, hasn't been able to back her up. Very happy to take him on. You have a lot of horses in between, like the Waka Clan, who ran in the race last year. Where did it all begin? I think a lot of them are exposed. You get down to Gitmaker at 33-1. He's off a pound higher than last season, where he finished second. He pulled 18 lengths clear of the third Waka Clan, and where it all began in behind. He was only beaten by a future grade 1 horse. I know the way you're thinking. I think this will be a pound. Only he's got 1 more pound than last season, and he pulled 18 lengths clear of the field. I thought if he's not in the race, he's a phenomenal winner. I know he's come out at Windsor lately. We know he's alive and well. I'd suggest he'll have 1 more prep run over fences before going here. I do think soft ground will stand the best effect, and that'll be the only worry. But there's a chance you're going to take at these prices. I think the softer the ground, the better for him. If you watch him last season, he travelled around and took your eye out. You go back and watch that race, he's a serious eye catcher throughout, only to be beaten by a future grade 1 horse. And I'll finish up with the last one, a race that I know everyone loves, the Martin Pipe, 25-1. Would who?
Don't.
Would
do? No.
Would do for Gordon Elliott. Look, a 5-year-old mare, and I think Gordon might have learned off Willie. it's best leave these juveniles alone for a long time and let them come to themselves. She's 6 from 6 in her career, and you look through her form. First time out last year, she got the better of Naboring, went on to win a grade two, placing a grade two. Sorry, win a grade three, placing a grade two, was fourth in the Triumph. That form has worked out unbelievable, and finished up with a Galway hurdle win and a mark of 150. She's beaten a genuine proper horse there. You then look through, she won two more races in order, winning by 24 lengths, backed her up at Down Royal. She was then taken over to the UK, where she definitely beat inferior opposition, but she showed before that her form stacks up. You look at the break she was given, brought back out in December this year, brought over to Cheltenham, over track and distance, of the Martin Pipe. I think it's no consequence. It's not a consequence that happened, but she went in a race that's a handicap all in name, in my opinion. Take No Chances was back and toward that day. Has come out and Ascot since winning a grade two, beating Cargeese. You've second Joe Hughes, who I think possibly could be a plot for the Betfair hurdle. She's up the top of the market and there's plenty of money about for her. So you look back in time, I think you might possibly look at a horse that's run well in the Betfair hurdle, a horse that's finished and won a grade two, beating Cargeese, giving her away. And you look at this horse, also quoted by Gordon Elliott, the pipe is the plan. She'd put up £8 off a mark of 138. I think she could be deadly. Her jumping is phenomenal. You're going to need that in a Martin Pipe field. And I just think it's one that you want to get in the book at this stage as a really nice price at 25 to 1. So I'll go through them all. You're lucky 15. Leg one, you're going to have the Wall Park at 10 to 1 in the Potemps. Leg two, you're going to have Angels Dawn in the Hunter's Chase. Leg three, you're going to have Git Maker 33 to 1 in the Kim Muir. And leg four is Woodhue 25 to 1 in the Martin Pipe. And I tell you what, lads, I'll never be back on this show again because that lucky 15 is going to pay about £1,000,000.
Well, you're going to have to take us on holiday with you, Sean.
I love that. You stole my job there because I had them all written down to read them back, but fair play to you. I love that. And you know what? I like Carla Conti for the Martin Pipe. I've already put it up on my selections, but she may go to Coral Cup. But my second selection, I can't believe we're the agreement we're in. I've been a massive fan of Wadu for so long now. So I am very much, I think she'll go off single figures for that race. I think she'll be
Yeah, and look, that's the thing. Like, I'm not just throwing up big prizes here to look good or grab snippets or anything like that. Genuine four horses who I believe I've had money on and have a genuine chance come to the festival.
Okay, awesome. Ian, I know you've got to go soon. So do you have a lucky 15 you want to give us?
I do, but I won't go into much detail as Sean did. But I'll give you a win one. So Salvatore Monday. Romeo Coolio for the Supreme. Stumptown for the cross country. Transmission for the National Hunt Chase. And the Big Westerner for the Potato Race.
Lovely, Ian. So Romeo Coolio for the Supreme, Stumptown for the cross country, Transmission for the National Hunt Chase, and my first selection, the same as Ian's, the Big Westerner for the Albert Bartlett. I'm going to go for Highland in the Ultima, who I've already spoke about plenty of times. K Doty for the Supreme. I'm going to side with the JP horse to win at the DRF, then win the Supreme. And I'm going to stick with Bioluminescence in the Mare's Chase. So I've got a couple of JP horses in there. Ginge, did you want to throw one in quickly?
Yeah, I've got two the same as you. So the Big Westerner, massive fan. As you know, she romped home for us as the Christmas banker. St. Lucie in the Triumph Hurdle. She's by Great Pretender, and Connections have also won the race with another Great Pretender called Lossymouth. Bioluminescence in the Mare's Chase as well. So three mares, but also Better Days Ahead to win the Brown Advisory to get us the jackpot.
Lovely stuff. Jamie, do you have one as well?
I'm going to go with, from left field, I'm going to go Django Bay is going to win the Browns. Fortune de Mare is going to win the bumper for Dan Skelton. I'm going to go Protectorate, my old favourite, is still going to win the Ryanair. And with the old rules, I don't know what the rules are. Like, the old rule, I don't, in the BHA, they don't even know the rules. If he's qualified, Lark in the morning and win the pipe, yeah.
Okay, fantastic.
He will qualify. He will.
Brilliant. So I think we're going to wrap it up there. I just wanted to say thank you once again to Sean for joining us. Absolutely brilliant. Your insight is fantastic. We can always watch you on the finishing line. You know where to follow Sean on Twitter. What nights are you on the finishing line, Sean? Is it normally?
Wednesday evenings on YouTube, you'll catch us.
Wednesday evenings. And of course, Ian from the Cheltenham Exchange. Thank you so much, mate. Always a pleasure. I've known you a long time and you always bring great value, great insights. So thanks once again. And we will be back next week to preview the Dublin Racing Festival on the Ginger Joe Show. And we've got a couple of brilliant guests who had a couple of winners today, I believe. And that's the boys from the Take a Pull podcast, Deck and Andy. Thanks once again to all of our viewers. Like, subscribe, comment, ask us any questions. We appreciate the views. The podcast was brought to you by Oddschecker, and we'll see you next time.